Oh, hi everybody, there you are. I'm glad you turned up. Got something to say about the history of Big Lollopy Dog and what can possibly go wrong if you choose the wrong vehicle. I first saw Big Lollopy on the internet, on eBay, and it looked excellent, looked chuffing marvellous. And the first mistake was I fell in love with it straight away. That's the first mistake. Picking a good discovery, it's a bit like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Okay, you know the bit at the end where they go into the temple where the last Templar is, and you have to choose the cup of Jesus. That's a bit like choosing a discovery. If you choose wisely, there's miles and miles of happy free motoring and everybody's nice and it's all lovely and it's going to be great. But if you choose unwisely, it will simply drain away all your finances, soul, heart, life, body, and your desiccated husk will turn to dust and blow away in the wind. A bit like what's happened to me. Oh yes, me. Ankle. I'm sat here in my up chairs. Got my foot up on the puff, watching YouTube. Not daytime TV. No, YouTube. Can't go wrong with YouTube. Right, how do we get to? So, got the foot up on the puff. I've got sat down in the up chairs. I've got my cup of tea. Got the remotes for the TV. We're good. We're happy. The foot is tolerable. Like I said, badly bruised, still swollen, but what do you expect? You broke my ankle. Be careful, people. I'm trialing this scenario and it's awful. Don't do it. It's terrible. Be careful. But I'm well impressed by the amount of good wishes and good feeling from people. So thank you all. Sincerely appreciate that. That's great. Thank you, everybody. Okay, that's the ankle covered. Yeah. Yeah. Right, that's the ankle covered. So, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Choose well, choose unwisely. It's going to cost. To be honest, it'll cost anyway, because stuff breaks. The danger area for mileage is 140, 145, 150,000 plus. Then everything starts going. Right. Anyway. Right. So saw Big Lollopy on the internet. Thought that's bloody marvellous. Love it. Went to have a look. Yeah, fell in love with it. It was awesome. As soon as that happens, everything goes out the window. Logic. Your wallet, everything goes out the window. You've got to take somebody with you and keep you grounded and say, look, that's a pile of crap, don't touch that. Okay? Somebody with a bit of common sense, which I thought I had. As soon as emotion gets involved, your wallet's gone. So we had to have a look. Did all the usual checks. You checked all the sides and the shut lines. Everything's all nicely proportioned. There's no sign of any shunting. Had a look underneath at the chassis, all that stuff. Did all that. No, not a problem. Took a little torch, checked it all up. It was fine. Second thing I should have noticed was there was no jack, no service history. No mats, nothing. It's kind of empty that you get when you're just going to throw it away, scrapyard. Okay, that's probably the second thing to look for. The first mistake was falling in love with it. Second mistake, no history. You've got to have some kind of history. There's a stack of bills, but so what? That's a stack of bills. You know, you need some proper documented history. Didn't have that. The history I've got now is what I started when I bought the car. So as a kind of reminder of what I'd done and for the next person. But that's not going to happen because I can't let anybody else have that. It's just just be wrong. So that's the second mistake, no history. Looked around the car, what's all this stuff? See, I didn't know that the jack lived with the ECU under the bonnet. I didn't know that. I thought I did my homework, but I missed the ordinary stuff. Like there's no mats, not a single mat. The proper Land Rover mats I've got in now, £100 from eBay. There's the silly things you put on top of the windows, £100. I had to get the jack from eBay, about 35. It's probably my own jack. I probably bought it back. And the service history, the books, all the usual stuff, all the happy stuff. Didn't get any of that. I had to eBay. So this is all extra stuff. The winter wheels I've got on now, the Grabber 2s. Got them off eBay. Bought them from a chap in Norfolk. Really nice chap. He'd had a really bad experience with Discovery 2. So, it's not, I'm not the only one, but anyway. I bought them before I got the car. I got my first set of Land Rover wheels. So, anyway, so we're looking at this thing. Third mistake, and the fourth mistake was no coolant in the header tank. Alright, that's a biggie. That I should admit, it just looks like somebody's not topped it up, but you shouldn't have to top it up. Okay. First mistake was it was empty. I did point it out to the chap. I said you need to top up the coolant. Yeah. And he seemed a nice chap. He really did. The whole setup was great. It was nice. Alright. So anyway. Perhaps he didn't know how bad it really was, because he bought it from somebody else. Somebody else in their wisdom had probably owned it for years, never had any trouble with it, trashed it to death. Oh, head's gone, let's get it shut. Clean it out, gone. This guy, he bought it, perhaps he didn't know how bad it was. I'd like to think he didn't. Otherwise, if he did, then he obviously made a very good move, because he sold it on to me. Okay, anyway, so that's that. So the coolant. Then we came to the test drive. Oh, the test drive was horrendous. I recommend you test drive more than one Land Rover. Okay? I hadn't. This was my first Land Rover Discovery ever. Any kind of Land Rover ever. And it's such a culture shock from a normal car. Went from a Ford Ka to a Discovery 2. It's a quantum leap in everything, the whole way, the way it feels, drives in it. I've driven big stuff before. I drive an 18-tonner shunter at work. Okay, it's a truck, it's not a train. Once you get used to the size, it's fine. Okay, it's actually lighter to drive than the Land Rover. But you get used to it. But first time ever in Discovery, in a strange place, because we've gone to see it, it was somewhere else, and it's all weird. It's on roads you don't know, in a vehicle you don't know, and it's wow, it's a terrible assault on your senses, and you try to get an idea of what this thing's like. And it seemed okay. It's not till after when you realise that the steering is it's not called Big Lollopy Dog for nothing. The steering is crap, the big gearbox is crap, there's so much play in the diffs, it rocks backwards and forwards. You've got to set off carefully. And we stopped and put some fuel in, and we did all that. And he showed me you have to put the boost on if you want to clear the windscreen and the front demisters and the rear demisters, all that. And that were fine. I thought that were great. And what really seriously impressed me the most was when you look in the rear view mirror. You can't see the car behind, it's too low. It's below it's below the level of the door. So it just looks clear behind. It's just I'm up here in my Discovery 2. And the other thing was there's not much room. You see people driving Discoveries and Land Rovers and Defenders with the window down. That's so you can get your elbow out. Because there's not a lot of room. Trust me, there's not a lot of room. It's snug, compact and bijou, I think is the phrase. So it's snug. Anyway, so we test drive the thing. I thought I'll get used to it. because that's what you do, don't you? You get used to it. You drive a benching tonic, you get used to it. You go to work, you get used to it. You go to the gym. Yeah, don't go to the gym. We don't do gyms, not anymore. Too old. You get used to it. So I thought, I'll get used to it. Perhaps this is how they are. I didn't know. So second recommendation, test drive a few. Get to know what they're like. Somebody with a friend, drive that. Just get to know it, get to know what to look, get to know what to look for with the jacks and the mats and all the bits and all the stuff that should be there, like the chocks and the jack handles and the blooming jack that sits with the ECU, under the bonnet, behind the battery. All that kind of thing. Obviously, we all look at the shut lines and the way it sits. The way it sits is important. If it's still on air and it's lopsided, it's wrong. It's got to be levelled up, and that takes a bloke in a nice garage with a laptop and the correct height setting blocks. You can't. It isn't something you can do yourself, I don't think. No, I don't. Well, I can't. I haven't got the recommended software. So, but if it's on springs, if someone's changed it and put springs on, and it sits, well, yeah, fair enough. All my cars are sat down on the right because they're all old and they're all. That's where the driver sits the most, so it sits down on the right, on the driver's side. But Discovery's anything with air shouldn't. It should be level. It's level now, but that's now. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. So we got this thing. We had it delivered because they were going to underseal the underside, and the radio that was in here, that was one of these cheap aftermarket units with this pop-out screen, and that didn't work. That's why they left it in. So I asked him to change that, and they put an ordinary Land Rover radio in, which is the one with the CD tape and the radio, and it's been good. I've had to change the cassette changer under the seat, but stuff wears out. I mean, the 16 to 17 years old now. That's a long time. Since 17 years, any ordinary car you get shut off. Land Rovers, I think it all comes down to the rot and how much you're going to have to spend on welding, even though you can change the entire back chassis. But there's other stuff besides. Anyway, excuse me. Marvellous. So we got the thing home. Went for a drive. Well, it wasn't too bad. I suppose I was getting used to it, but after a few miles, the gearbox went like porridge. It's all about. Anyway, came home. We carried on with life because stuff's busy, isn't it? We put it to one side. We had another car which carried on. Didn't drive it all that much. And very first job was, after doing the homework online, is change the injector wiring. Okay, injector plug wiring, because the oil comes through into the ECU. First thing I checked, and guess what? There's oil in the ECU. Marvellous. So drain that out. I don't know how much there was, but I left it on end for hours and a little bit came out. But the wiring was, of course, full. So I had that changed. First 40 quid. I'll come back to the usual history in a minute, but this is just the general overview. Used it occasionally. The injector harness was first. The battery was first. The battery had gone. So the battery, injector harness, and radiator went next. Radiator and the top hose. Now these went because of the gas getting in. The head had gone. The gas was getting into the coolant system, pressurising it. That's when it blew the radiator and the top hose. So by this time I'm realising there's something seriously wrong. The gurgle of death when you're driving along and you stop the lights and it sounds like the system needs bleeding. It just like a kind of sloshing gurgle as water gets through the heat. The heat goes cold, and you rev it up, and it's what's going on there? You're thinking he's bleeding, so you do the bleeding thing. Next drive out, it's just as bad. It makes no difference because the coolant is pressurised by the exhaust gas because the head's cracked. The exhaust gas gets into the coolant, pressurises it, blows all the water out, and if you're not careful, it's toast. The other side is that the coolant goes back into the cylinder. If the exhaust gas can get out, the coolant can get in. And what sometimes happens in some case scenarios is the engine hydrolocks because the liquid's gone into the cylinder and piston can't move. So this job stopped. I tried K-Seal in the coolant. Now that worked in so much as it stopped the coolant going into the cylinders. Obviously it wasn't strong enough to stop the gas going the other way. So first thing you look for is the fact that there is coolant. It should be nice and pink, should be clean. If it's muddy brown and got gold speckles in it, that's K-Seal. Something somewhere was leaking. Good look out for that. Rest is history, isn't it? If that's okay when you look at it, when you still listen, you listen for the gurgle when you go out. Diesel in the oil. There's no way you can check for that. People can take the dipstick out, smell it. There's diesel in there. I can't do that. It just smells like oil. And if somebody's trying to shift it toward your motor, then they'll probably change the oil anyway, so it's all going to be nice and clean. You think, well, just service it. This chap's great. Yeah. Anyway, so you've checked that. Excuse me. Right. So you've checked for that, and then you go for your driving. Hopefully it's better than mine. But like I said, test a few. Don't just go for the first one you come across. That was probably the 5th mistake. Anyway, I've decided this Unwisely terminal. I did some research online. Cracked head. Oh, can't do with that. Put it up for sale. Okay, so kind of sat to one side. I've had enough of this, and that's where the story would probably have ended. But for one certain turkey in a black Mercedes pulling up to a junction, looked left, looked right, nothing coming, set off. Oh, there's a car in front. The car in front was Frida's KA. She's fine. Car's toast. Well, a couple of sprays, usual stuff, but she's okay. I was really peeved. That KA was superb. 65,000 miles on it. It would have lasted for years. We just got it through the MOT, put a new clutch in it, we've got tyres on, we've got a lambda sensor in the chuffing exhaust. £221. Had to get a proper Ford one. When the chap brought it back, I said, does that come with an engine? He didn't laugh. So there's 700 quid in this bloody thing, and it's just toast, it's gone. But what happened because of that, Frida didn't feel safe in anything smaller than the Land Rover. So we decided to keep it and get the engine done, and that's when the first engine goes in. And it kind of stumbled on from there. That's the general overview, but now I'm going to go through. Yeah, sorry, it's just a little bit long. Just stick around a bit longer. This might tickle you, because this is from eBay. This is from somebody else's. Right, and I've started it. Right, there we go. Okay, right. There's 163,000 miles on it, roughly, when we first got it. This new radiator, new starter motor, power steering pump seals. Yeah, the power steering pump was leaking on the drop arm. Sunroof's working but leak. Oil pressure. Oh yes, oil pressure light repaired. New battery. They're all in the wrong order, but that's very. All oils changed, under sealed, 2 new 18-inch tyres. This is the unofficial record, started in 12 to 15, so we've had it 5 years. 5 years? Hell, 5 years of pain. Right, bought it on the 10th of January 15. Anyway, so power steering pump seals. Power steering pump were leaking, sunroofs were leaking considerably. Oil pressure light repair. Right, I hadn't noticed. When we first put the ignition on and discovered lots of lights come up, I hadn't noticed that the oil pressure light wasn't working. Now what happens is, when people have had the gearbox out, the wiring is very close, it goes around the back, and if you're not careful you rip it out or trap it, and that's what had happened. So send it back and they fix that. So okay, right, so this is 163,000 miles first. Well, this is this is on the February. Right, next entry, 163,000, I think that's 300. New mats and jack, eBay. Replace rear shock. Gearbox oil changed because of the steering, this gearbox thing where it seized up after you've done a few miles. New clutch hydraulic pipe. New fuel regulator. Now this was done at the disco centre. Now I like the disco centre. They do discos and they're near Harrogate. They're in between Poole and Harrogate. The new fuel regulator, that's the one on the head at the back. New clutch hydraulic pipe. Now this is interesting. I've forgotten that. The clutch was very woolly. It wasn't. I thought that's how they're supposed to be. This is the way you have to drive more than one. I thought that's how they're supposed to be. Turns out they had the clutch pipe, the clutch hydraulic pipe, is not just a straightforward bit of copper pipe. It's a special pipe. It's got to be the proper pipe. Once that was changed, I could feel the difference. Wow, that's what it should be like. Got the gearbox oil changed. Now, obviously, the more they wear, the more you should change the oil. Obviously, to stop them accelerating wear, because as they wear, little bits of metal gets into the oil and acts like an abrasive, and the wear accelerates. Anyway, yeah, who cares? A bit later on, this is the 7th month of 15. Okay, we've got the 7th month. 164,000 we've got up to. New top hose, that's when the top hose blew out, and new passenger wipers. Well, you have to change them. Next entry, 165,000. Both rear air springs changed. Got them from eBay. I got the cheap ones. I didn't get the OE ones. I got the cheap ones. That's the ones where you cut the pipe off, change them, stick the plastic air pipe back in the top. If you get proper OE ones, I think you have to undo it. No, not sure. And both sunroofs sealed at Blackpool. This was the 10th. So up to the 10th month of 15, and already we've had an engine. I haven't mentioned the engine. Why haven't I mentioned the engine? Okay, anyway, both rear air springs changed. I had no choice because one blew out. We were on the way to Blackpool actually, not to do the sunroofs, but just for a day out, and we got about 5 miles, bang! Went down so quickly that the other side was still up. Normally they both go down, I think. So I drove it back. It's only 5 miles. That's when you find out just how. That's when you find out you need bump stops. We've changed them, as you know. So we've got the air springs now. So air springs have gone. We've got the sunroof sealed. That were about £360. Well recommended. That's filled windscreen and sunroof repair. Lives in Blackpool. Top man. Really recommend him. Look him up. If you go online, Google Disco 2 sunroofs, and it comes up there. He will come to you for a little bit extra, but I took it to Blackpool. We had a day out. Excellent. well recommended. Right, carry on. 165,400. Leaking steering box replaced for second hand one from Emmett's of Colne, fitted by Bond Motors. That's the chap near us. I thought this thing's starting to cost a bit, so I'm going to start doing stuff myself. I thought, oh, I can change a power. I can change a steering box from a Discovery. I went to call and pick up this box. Came up in a big blue bag. I could have to pick it up. I could have to drag it back to the car to bring it back home. There's no way I'm going to sit under a mucky lawn road trying to get this bloody thing out. No. So I took it to a chap down close to where we live. Went back day after, got 100 quid to change it. And I said, how did it go on? And I said, well, couldn't do it, it was too heavy, I had to take it to chaps across the road. So I'm feeling a wimp because I couldn't change my own steering box. But now they cut this bloke out and he had all the proper tackle, so I didn't feel so bad. Right, got it tracked up. This is the 6th of the, this is now 6th of the 11th, 15. It's still 15. And we got it tracked up and we've got a second steering box. Right, 165,500. I've got the engine oil and filter change. Yes, the driver's door strap, you know, the thing that stopped the door flying open, it fell off. So I got it welded up at work. We didn't disconnect the battery. I think, because later on the alternator failed. I think that might have been partially my fault. We didn't disconnect the battery and used a MIG welder. So, anyway, disconnect the battery if you're doing any MIG welding. Right, so this is next year now. We're at April 16. 166,866 miles. Engine replaced. For one with 79,000 miles on it. New clutch fitted. Oil changed. Oh yeah, rear headphones. You know, the things in the back. I bought one of the ES models because the hi-fi units behind the back seats, so the people in the two occasional seats can listen to either cassette, CD or the radio. You put the headphones on, you plug it in, and it's excellent. I wanted that. Didn't work, surprisingly. So we had that fixed. Right, new alternator fitted. Okay. Now I had something else, because when you first look at a Disco 2 alternator, you think, what the chuff? Well, actually, it's not that bad. Once you get, there's a single bolt, get the adjusters off, get the oil feed pipe off, and the oil drain for the vacuum pump. And then once you've got the thing forward, you can get to the power wires at the back and the main power red wire feed. So you know that we've done that. Right, so that's that. So we're April 16. Still April 16, 166,896. New Watts linkage fitted on the rear axle. Now you know the Watts linkage, it's that odd shaped bar with 1, 2, 3, 4 bushes on it, and it stops the axle going from side to side, and it works quite well. I didn't know I needed that doing. It was Emmett that pointed it out. Because he said, I bet when you reverse out the drive the back end wobbles. I said, yeah, it does. Everything wobbles all over the place. He said, it's your Watts linkage. They changed it. Wow, what a difference. Yes. Check your Watts linkage if your Disco is wandering about. It's not that difficult to do, but you need to get one that's already got the bushes in it. Yeah, I think you can buy it was £200, but well worth it. The handling was improved considerably afterwards, unbelievably. Right, so that's the Watts linkage. Right, new turbo drain pipe gasket fitted. I did that. Turbo drain pipe, because I think it failed the MOT because the underneath the turbo there's the pipe that goes back into the block. There's a gasket which had failed, so I changed that. Right, so now next entry. Right, 170. We've made it to 170,000 miles. New swivel ball joints, near side front. Axle oil level checked and breathers, prop shaft greased. This is October 16. Now the swivel ball joints. Okay, that's the ones where the stub axle, one top, one bottom, stub axle swivels on. You can only change them 3 times. After that, you've got to change the whole unit, because these ball joints are a press fit, and if you do them too often, they get too slack, and then the whole thing can fall off. Only changing 3 times. Now I didn't know that, but when we got the car back after they did the second set, they had spot welded the ball joints into place. That's weird. Why did they do that for? Because it's a sloppy fit, so they welded them in. When next time they need doing, you have to change the whole blooming thing, because it's anyway. So come back to that. So there we go, 170,000 miles with this October 16. Still 170,000 miles. I'm not down to a few miles. Second-hand MAF sensor fitted. I do that, and front wipers. Oh, MOT pass on the 2nd of the 17th. Right. Second-hand steering. There was another second-hand steering box fitted, and then Emmets did it with themselves. That one's still on. Now, the problem with second-hand parts is you don't know how long they're going to last. First one didn't last that long. Second one is still on now. It's fine. So take a chance, don't you? If you're going to splash out and get a new one, okay. It's not worth it. Could afford it. Finances were hanging in tatters by now. So we've got the MAF sensor. Can't remember why I did that. Oh yeah, I can remember why I did that. I broke it. This is, start getting the oil in the system. Ah right, yeah, I remember what I did. This is probably the turbo again. The oil was coming from the turbo. I thought it was coming from the crankcase breather, so I rerouted the breather into the airbox. Okay, just put a pipe through and put a hole in it. So the oil was theoretically drained out of the bottom of the airbox, and the clean air went back into the engine. Yeah, it didn't really work that well. You've got to change the air filters a lot more frequently. No, but because of the oil air going through the engine, it coated the MAF sensor. I think I tried to clean it with some cleaner and broke it. Very, very fragile. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Next entry. 170,600 miles. Would not crank. Ah, right, this is where the ignition switch failed. Yeah. Now, this is another thing. Just put the key in, turn it, nothing happens, then the ignition comes on, then you crank it. I didn't even know there was a first position when I first got this car. I thought that's what happened, they went straight to it. Was knackered already. First position, all the accessories come on. Second position, the ignition comes on. Third position, you crank it. It wasn't until I changed the ignition switch, not the barrel, the switch behind it. It's not until I did put another one and I realised, oh, look, you actually have stuff on without having the ignition on. I didn't know that. Yeah, you still didn't learn. So, so we got that done. Now, I've got a whole second-hand barrel on the switch from eBay. And they're fine, but if you change the barrel, the sensor is keyed to the key, so you've either got to have the key that goes with that so you can change them both, or you've got to have it recoded. I was lucky, I've still got the same barrel, all the same key and all that bit. It's the switch behind there to change, and that was quite easy. actually. Right, got a couple of Wrangler tyres fitted to the front. Right, engine oil changed. M-Tech added to gearbox and transfer box. Right, this is the stuff from Amatec. They do a thing called Restore, which basically builds up your cylinders in old diesel engines and petrol engines, and it makes things better, and it works. I used it on the first Fusion. It was an old clunky oil burner, and it considerably improved it. We got 2 years MOTs out of that. Don't use it in discos though, because because of the centrifugal filter, it don't work. So you cannot use Restore in a TD5. However, they had a similar thing called M-Tech, which added to the gearbox. Now this takes away the heat. You know, remember the gearbox where you did about 10 miles? Well, we used to go to Manchester Airport, look at the planes, and by the time I got there, I had no idea what gear we were in. It was just stirring concrete. It was awful. Put this stuff in, topped all the fluid out, put some fresh fluid in with this stuff. God, world of difference. Bloody marvellous. Love it. Because I put it down to heat. It was just things knackered. That's all. It's knackered. So it was building. Heat was building up, and it was just going really stiff. Put this stuff in, and it's been great. It's not perfect because it's knackered. The whole gearbox is knackered, but it's much better. It's tolerable. Even though you're not supposed to put additives in the oil, I did. The thing's knackered anyway. What the hell? The tyres. Now we're into 17 now. Actually, we've had it 2 years. We have 17. Okay. 14th of the 10th, 17. 172,924 miles. New block. Reconditioned head. Again. New oil filters, air filter. Driver's side ride height sensor. Changed by Emirates. This is when I find out that your disco should sit level if you're on air. Because they straightened it up for me, they fixed it. Right, 22nd of the 2nd, 18, made it to 18. 3 bottom hoses replaced, that's 173,000 miles. MOT failed, driver's side front ball joint, and new ball joint, second hand, new ball joint, second hand ECU. Now this is the second block and head. This is actually the third. I don't know why I haven't got it down in here, but it's the third. So I'm beginning to think there's something wrong here. Now these things are costing. So I changed the ECU, got a second-hand one. Second-hand ones can be reprogrammed. Brand new ones got to go to Land Rover to be done from scratch. Second-hand ones can be reprogrammed. Got one, did it. We had that done. And the head lasted longer. No, the heads were starting to go now every 6 months. It's kind of the time intervals in between head changes was coming down, as if whatever it was causing it was getting worse. So we changed the ECU, and the head lasted longer. Right. March 18, 174,461 miles. New head gasket fitted at J. Christ, a new thermostat. They put a new thermostat on, so that's another new head gasket. Still 175,000 miles. Another new radiator, because this one was leaking. At least I thought it was. Wrong again. It was weird. The bottom hose suddenly didn't fit. It was just too slack. Well, anyway, so new bottom hoses again. So 178,960. Okay. New injector, another new injector loom, and a top gasket around the top cover. Okay. Right, replace CD player from eBay, replace fuel filter. And that, I had to replace the fuel filter because it was literally leaking, it was holed. You know where it is, behind the back wheel in the arch there, so it's subject to all the crap, and it just started leaking, so I had to change it. It's easy enough, you just jack the thing up and you can just get in. It was great. Right, 179,000, 25th of the 3rd, 19, we made it to 19 already. MOT repairs, new front wipers, near side drop link anti-roll. Oh yes, the drop links. I had to change one of them because the bloody the cover was split. Joint was fine, but the cover was split. And offside front wheel bearing. Changed the whole unit. That's the one that wasn't that bad. Apart from you have to tighten the big hub nut to about £314. Yeah, I had socket set and length of scaffolding. That seemed to do it. Replace front offside caliper. It was binding. Second hand alternator again, changed again. Second hand stuff, you take your chance. 30th of the 6th, 19, new fan belt, which I did, I think it was on film, and oil and filter change. And oh yeah, 11th of the 10th, 19, passenger side window repair. Oh yeah, we changed the intercooler. That's all on film. This is where you come in now. New rear bump stops fitted. 10th, 19. Right, 11 and 19. We did the turbo cartridge. 181,700 miles on the 28th of the 12th, 19. We did the injector seals. And then I did the air filter, and then new battery on last month. 181,807 miles. So we started at 163. We've done 18,000 miles. We've had 2 blocks, 3 heads, 4 gaskets. And where are we now? We stood here 5 years later, need a head, got the battery already. And that's where we stood 5 years ago. We needed a head and a battery. Nothing's changed. What the hell's going on? Why do we keep bothering? The reason I keep bothering is because if alright, you scrap it, it's scrap, isn't it? Get shut. It's all gone. All that money in the past, all that work, it's all thrown away. It's all gone, and that's intolerable. You haven't got a Land Rover. I wanted a Land Rover. I wanted a nice Land Rover. So that's where we go. All I wanted was a nice Land Rover to take the family out and throw stuff in, because they're really, really useful. They're really adaptable. I mean, we like to go to Manchester Airport runway visitor park, sit in a car park, and you stand on the back and you can look and see the planes coming in. It's great. You can drop the second row of seats down, put a table up in the back and get a leg down. It's bloody marvellous. So they're really adaptable and useful, the Disco 2s. I love them, even now. So, right, but I can safely say I think I chose my Disco unwisely, as the old chap in the temple said. So that's where we go. So basically 163,000 miles. Whoever sold it last got rid of it before it all went wrong. and that's what's going to happen to a few other people besides. It frightens me when you talk to people say, I'm selling my disco, I've never had any trouble with it. What? So I mean you're saving it all up for me? Yeah, I like to see where oh yeah, I've changed this, changed that, I spent thousands on it. Now that's what I like to hear, because that means somebody started the restoration already. You're not going to have to do it all yourself. That's what I like. Next. Cheers. Right. So, that's the service history of Big Lollipy Dog so far. I've done this, because I can't really do much else. Dodgy foot. Because you won't all know the previous history, which is radiators, starter motors, heads, blocks, airbags, which is another point, airbags. They're not genuine, so I reckon they need changing after five years. Taking my own advice, airbags, treat them as a service item. I'm going to change them this year. There's nothing wrong so far. I'm going to change them this year. Service item. Okay. Original stuff, I'll probably go for 10 years. But cheap stuff, just quit while we're ahead. Okay. Change the airbags regularly. You're going to be fine. You're going to have none of that nonsense. So we need, well, as you know, we still need another head. That'll be another second-hand one. See, it's a second-hand business. If we really splashed out and got perhaps one from Turner Engineering that were properly sorted, or even a new one, then I'm pretty sure the problems will be over. At the moment, we're just stumbling from crisis to crisis. We're just using heads up like blooming machine gun bullets. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I thought I'd put that up so you're now up to date with all the current MOT and not MOT but service history of Big Lollipy. Reason why it's called that. The steering's still vague, but I'd really like to drive another disco, or a few discos, see just what they're like. The chap at Riffer Manor who did the disco centre, who did the ball joint, he did both sides. Don't know if I mentioned it or not, but both side swivel joint, they've all been done. one year after MOT failure again. Now we lost the Ace early on with the first MOT, which really ticked me off because I liked Ace. Ace is fine when you have about 5 or 6 people in the back, and you can whisk it, and it's okay because it's its level. If you're by yourself, you hardly notice anyway because there's only you in it. But if we need to get a few people in and load on the back, that's when you need Ace. The pipe at the back, the long one, it split, it was leaking, it was spotted on the MOT. It was a fail. If I'd have looked and kind of Californiaed it, we might have got away with it, but no. So took it down to the disco people, and he tried to change the back pipe. Easy enough? No, it's not, because the distributor block that's underneath that shares out the load going to each wheel, the pipe wouldn't come out of the block. So basically, if I wanted to reinstate the Ace, it would be new pipes. I think there's 6 of them. They're £100 a piece. There's a new block, £2.5 grand, £1,000. I can't remember. Overall, it's about £2.5 grand to put it back on. Lottery win, yes please, I'll get it reinstated. Until then, there's not a chance. So we lost the Ace, and that ticked me off. But we're still on air, which is good. I like air because it's self-leveling. It's good. Yeah. Anyway, that's where we are. So I hope my waffling has perhaps helped somebody somewhere somehow. I sincerely hope you bought your disco, you were having a great time, you chose wisely. I didn't, and then some other people haven't. So like the chap I bought the wheels from, he copped out as well. Yeah, so I'm hoping this helps somebody. and you. And thanks for your comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for caring about the foot. It's just sat there. It's not. You don't care. It don't matter. But it's appreciating it. Yeah. So I'm going to put. Oh yeah. One thing I've noticed. I like to watch a lot of YouTube. Auto auction rebuilds. Britannica Restorations Limited. That's a Yorkshire chap living in Canada. He does 90s and Land Rovers. He's good. Salvage Rebuilds UK. That's it. Some diamond geezer down in London. Flips cars, gets them from the auction, fixes them back up, bangs them out. Diamond geezer. But the favourite one at the moment, Auto Auction Rebuilds. Now this is a chap in America, lives in Oklahoma, and he's just bought a Tesla. Yeah, no, a Tesla, battery car. This is the home of the V8, and he's got a Tesla, and he's been using it. He hired one at first, and he's been using it, and it made me think. It really made me think. Because electric is the future. It really has to be. And when you listen to the way you listen to his argument, you've got to agree. You get this electric car, and you charge it from home, or you can charge it from points wherever there are. The car knows where all the points are. It's basically an electric car, and there's a big iPad in the middle on the dashboard, and everything's controlled from the iPad on the dashboard. And it controls all the functions, and it tells you how much battery you've got on it. Anyway, check it out. Auto Auction Rebuilds on YouTube. Randy is called. Steady. And he's actually bought one now. He hired one and he's bought a Tesla. I don't know. It's 90D, 90S. It's the fast one. I mean, electric cars. It does 0 to 60 2.6 seconds. It'll do 350 miles on a charge if you're careful. Doesn't need any servicing. There's no engine oil to change, no transmissions to flush, no gearboxes to flush. Doesn't need fuel. You don't have to stop every so often and put gas, petrol or diesel in. I'm just trying to get my head around that. Having a car, you can just drive for 300 miles and it just needs plugging in. You don't have to stop every 200 miles and put some fuel in. These things are the future. We are driving dinosaurs. Now that's what struck me so much when I was watching it. This thing is state of the art. Now it's okay saying state of the art in America, in Oklahoma. It's nice and warm. You don't need all the electric screens and the heaters and the motors, all this. In England, I'm sure it will be different. Okay, I don't think you get that range. Imagine going out on a -5. Everything's frozen over. You've got to throw it out completely. You've got to need wipers on. There's all the lights on. There's it's going to be a completely different scenario. Now, I'm okay with that, but it's still the future, and the fact is that these things are so advanced. That's the future. Discos, anything with a petrol engine, diesel engine, it's just dinosaurs. We're driving dinosaurs. This thing, you've got to watch, check it out. Okay, tell me what you think. But we are driving dinosaurs. These things are the future. These are great. Check it, just have a look for yourself. Auto Auction Rebuilds, bloke called Randy. And what does he? Flips cars. No, he doesn't turn them over. He goes to the auction, buys a wrecked one, brings it back home, fixes it, bangs it out. Not seriously damaged ones. I mean, we're talking fenders. Watching too much YouTube. Wings, bumpers, front panels, all that kind of thing. The normal, anything that doesn't involve structural deformation. Which I'm okay with that. And salvage, oh yeah, the Diamond Gear Salvage Rebuilds UK. I like him, he's cool. He's restoring a classic Range Rover Classic as well. And he did a really good, what got me interested was he really did a really good video on replacing the timing belt and timing tensioner on a 2.7 Disco Sport, Range Rover Sport, the 2.7 TDV6, I think it's 2.7, and it had failed simply because it was shit. The casting, this great big water pump casting with the tensioner fastened on one end, and because the casting was crap, that's all it went. This thing had been properly serviced, properly looked after, cared for, and it still broke because of the cheap shit castings. The new casting came, the new water pump came, and it's a lot better. You know, just put it right in the first place, Range Rover. Get it right. For goodness sake, these things cost money. And he did a superb thing where he lifted the body off and they fixed it and he put the body back on. It's great, really interesting series. So Salvage Rebuilds UK. Check that out, that's fun. I'm going to have a look at that now. I'm going to have to go and put the kettle on again because tea's nearly cold. Oh god, tea is cold. Right. Anyway, time for a bit of dinner. I hope I haven't gone too long. I hope you've you're still with me. Thanks very much for your comments. Thanks for all the good wishes. And only one thing left to say. See you in a bit. Oh, before you go, just remembered the Astra in the garage, still in the garage. Our washing machine hanging by a thread. Perhaps in a couple of weeks we might be able to get some help and pull the Astra out and pull the washer out behind it. And just in case you're wondering, you're probably not, but just in case you are, we went to IKEA on a Saturday. Madness. But however, it was almost quite pleasant. We managed to find a parking spot in the same year we went there. We had a good wander around, we looked at some stuff. We had meatballs and chips and peas, of course, and some sort of cake, some odd coloured cake. Nice, not quite sure what it was, but it was nice. That was all. So IKEA was surprisingly good. Good old IKEA. Right, that's just a really quick update on the back of the other one. So, washing machine, hoping for the best, and IKEA, it's surprisingly pleasant. That time anyway. Okay, anyway, sorry, let you go. See you in a bit. See. Why am I laughing? See you in a bit.